In the first episode of the acclaimed series Band of Brothers, we are introduced to the compelling dynamic between First Lieutenant Richard Winters, portrayed by Damian Lewis, and Captain Herbert Sobel, played by David Schwimmer. This initial episode sets the stage for a significant moment in Winters' military career, a moment that reveals much about his character and leadership style. The episode revolves around a crucial decision that Winters faces after committing a minor infraction. He's presented with two choices: accept his punishment or opt for a court-martial. The severity of this decision is palpable as Winters, under the stern gaze of Captain Sobel, decides to challenge the status quo by choosing a court-martial. This scene, while dramatic, is grounded in historical events. In the book Hang Tough, the World War II, Letters and Artifacts of Major Dick Winters, author Eric Dorr provides a detailed account of Winters' life and military service. Among the artifacts is a reproduction of Sobel's reprimand, complete with Winters' signature and his determined plea for a court-martial. As depicted in the series, the build-up to this confrontation between Sobel and Winters unfolds during the early days of Easy Company, part of the 506th Parachute Infantry Regiment. This was a time of intense training and preparation, as the company readied themselves for their historic jump into Normandy and subsequent battles across Europe. These early experiences forged the bonds of brotherhood and set the tone for the leadership styles that would emerge. Sobel, as depicted in the series, was a harsh disciplinarian. He was more concerned with how his men's performance reflected on him than with their actual well-being. His leadership was characterized by fear and intimidation, a stark contrast to Winters' approach. Winters consistently prioritized the safety and welfare of his men, earning their respect and loyalty. The tension between Sobel and Winters came to a head in England, just before the Normandy invasion. Sobel's strictness and Winters' dedication to his men were on a collision course. This tension is vividly captured in Hang Tough, where Winters' correspondence with his family includes a photograph of Sobel, defaced with a crudely drawn mustache, symbolizing the contempt many felt for him. Nowadays, I hold the title of Executive Officer for Company E, 506th. I've been in this position for 3 months without the title officially. My job is to take charge of the company when the captain isn't around, which is often, and handle the paperwork. Don't ask me what the captain does. Despite my 6 months of seniority as a first lieutenant, promotion is out of the question due to a lack of openings. Winters' critique of Sobel was not without risk. Sobel was known for his intrusive monitoring of outgoing correspondence, and his authoritarian approach often led to friction. He was notorious for conducting searches and confiscating contraband from soldiers' belongings. While he was effective in turning soldiers into a disciplined fighting force, his lack of engagement in administrative duties and training exercises eroded Winters' confidence in his leadership. In the series, the pivotal court-martial scene is set against the backdrop of a significant mission. As tensions mount between Sobel and Winters, Sobel decides to punish Winters for being late to an inspection, a minor offense magnified by Sobel's vindictive nature. The inspection time had been changed suddenly, and despite claims of notification via phone and messenger, Winters never received the message. "Lieutenant, your choices are clear," Sobel stated firmly. "For your transgressions, you will lose your 48-hour pass privileges for 60 days. He then instructed Winters to assume the position of attention. "However, you have the option to appeal and opt for a court-martial trial," he added, attempting to minimize the severity of the punishment. "You usually spend your weekends on base anyway. Be a man and accept the consequences." Winters, unwavering, responded, "I choose trial by court-martial," delivering a sharp salute and exiting with a precise turn. This decision reverberated through Easy Company, highlighting the growing rift between the officers. During the trial, Winters was temporarily removed from operational duties, leading to a bold move by the non-commissioned officers of Easy Company. They collectively refused to follow Sobel's orders, risking their careers to express their lack of confidence in his leadership. In Hang Tough, Dorr describes this mutiny. A group of sergeants wrote a letter to Colonel Sink, declaring their unwillingness to serve under Sobel. This act of insubordination led to disciplinary action against several sergeants. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Colonel Sink transferred Sobel from Easy Company. He was replaced by Lieutenant Thomas Meehan, a more amiable leader from B Company. Winters resumed his role, much to the relief of the men. Paratrooper Don Malarkey reflected, "Winters orchestrated Sobel's removal not for personal gain, but for the good of the men. He was one of the most selfless leaders I've ever known. He did it to save lives." The court-martial scene, though brief, is powerful. It taps into the universal desire to stand up to a domineering leader who abuses their power. It also highlights the strength of a leader who genuinely cares for his subordinates. Knowing that this scene is based on real events adds depth and authenticity to the story. Years later, Winters recalled that one of his children found a 1942 photograph of Sobel, defaced with a Hitler mustache. When asked who did it, Winters admitted, "I did. That's exactly how we felt about him." He continued, "Captain Sobel commanded through fear and intimidation, which is not how a leader should behave. Sobel wasn't just unfair, he was mean-spirited. I lost all respect for him the day he told the officers in Easy Company, 'We will lead through fear, not by example.' It made such an impression on me that I recorded his words in my diary." This narrative captures the essence of leadership struggles within Easy Company. It showcases the contrasting styles of Sobel and Winters, the challenges faced by the men under their command, and the ultimate triumph of a leadership approach based on respect and care. Through these events, Band of Brothers not only entertains, but also educates viewers about the true nature of leadership and the sacrifices made by those who serve.